Welcome back to the Gauge 1 James project. We will start from where we left off, James tender. But first, the obligatory disclaimer. The first item on the agenda is the tender drawbar. This requires a good drill, and it's red. The drawbar hardware is made from a P-clip, a spring, and some bicycle hardware. The bolt is test fitted first, then the hardware is installed, and some Loctite is used to hold a nut in place. After the drawbar is installed, it is checked to see that it has enough play. The tender is checked against James to make sure that the fit is correct. The tender buffer beam comes next. Polystyrene sheet is scribed out to the shape necessary. Almost every other panel on James was cut the same way. Since the width of James' tender, even on the television series, is narrower than James himself, the buffer beams are checked against each other to make sure the buffers won't interfere with each other. The buffer beam is then drilled and the buffers inserted. Even though the Bachmann buffers have not been brought down to scale, you can see the fit is quite good. The buffers also fit the body of the tender without interference to the chassis. The buffers check out in height as well. 2-part 5-minute epoxy is used to adhere the buffer beam to the body of the tender. I've used this glue for the entire James project. The glue was installed with great care on the buffer beam, as the buffers themselves were not to be glued down at this particular moment. The result looks excellent. Once again, the fit is checked. It's perfect. The axle journal boxes are going to be cut out of a pair of LGB tank car chassis. The journal boxes are very similar to the ones used on James in the television series. A rotary cutoff tool makes the job easy. The axle ends on the LGB wheels had to be turned into stub ends, again with the help of the rotary cutoff tool. The journal box fit is tested against a newly cut axle. And then the rest of the axles are cut accordingly. The rest of the left side journal boxes were then glued down. Now previously the wheels were installed and reinstalled by sliding them in and out on their axle. Since the journal boxes prevent this, the round axle holes were slotted with the cutoff tool. Following this, the right side journal boxes were installed. Since now the wheels could slide out freely, a retainer plate was made, drilled, and installed. Now that the chassis is finished, it's time for primer, and then satin black. The wheel retainer plate was painted as well. And a little bit of drying time later, it's done. We'll get to see the finished tender in part 3. See you then.